Google came out of left field and backhanded Apple yesterday, poking fun at the failure of the iPhone 16 and Apple Intelligence and saying buy a Pixel. Here, watch this video.
If you buy a new phone because of a feature that's coming soon, but it's been coming soon for a full year, you could change your definition of soon, or you could just change your phone.
So I thought this was funny. I shared it, of course, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, and I said Google just backhanded Apple and said buy a Pixel. LOL, I love it. And I pissed off a lot of people, as I'm apt to do. I've been really good at this my whole life, making people mad. But it was funny to me, some of the responses I got. But it got me kind of thinking about it. And yeah, I think the iPhone 16 series has been the biggest failure that Apple has ever had. I mean, other than the Apple Vision Pro. Which is a whole nother story. Mine's still sitting on the floor that doesn't get used over there. But the iPhone 16 series was the first phone built from the ground up for Apple Intelligence, which was non-existent. And then they basically gave us some suggestions for like message replies or something, and some writing tips and help. Like 6 weeks later. Basically, the AI stuff they gave us was garbage. It was stuff that we've had on Android for like 2 or 3 years. And then we had to wait 3 more months to get some more stuff like the Animojis or whatever in the world they are, piece of trash. We finally got some extra things the beginning of the year. And then we were supposed to get this contextually aware Siri and Siri 2.0 and all this contextually aware stuff that, of course, they advertised, and then they pulled all their advertisements because they realized before they admitted that it ain't coming. Like, it ain't going to be here till the next phone. And that wasn't discovered until WWDC when they're like, yeah, we got to kind of punt these to the iPhone 17. So I think the iPhone 16 is the biggest scam ever effectuated on the American people by a company. It was completely advertised for one reason to upgrade, period. The phone is basically the same. They gave us the stupid camera control button on the side, and they said, this is for Apple Intelligence, and you have to upgrade to get Apple Intelligence, unless you have an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max. And then they didn't deliver. So I felt like there should have been, actually, you know what, I'm not going to say what I felt like there should have been, because, you know, I have a law degree, and I don't want people to take that and run with it like it's legal advice. So I'm not going to say what I think that people should have done. But I think Apple owed everybody a big apology, and they should have done something to make people happy with their phones that were basically, hey, I got this phone and now I can't do what I'm supposed to do with it. Well, I'm going to say something, right? Because I like to try and call balls and strikes. Google may be not the best people positioned to say this, because there have been promises made, promises unkept. I mean, I remember last year where I was pissed off because, remember, whenever they announced the Pixel 8, they were talking about the zoom enhance that we were supposed to get. And then it never showed up until the Pixel 9 was launched. And I made several videos about that, probably why they don't ever give me a call or they don't want to work with me. But I made several videos about that. I'm like, where is this zoom enhance that was promised to us a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away? And then it showed up with the Pixel 9. I'm like, oh, there it is. So, yeah, they don't have the sturdiest ground to stand on, but I do make a distinction here. The Google Pixel 8 was not built from the ground up for zoom enhance. That was just an additional feature in addition to all of the features they added. Apple Intelligence was the entire reason you were supposed to buy the iPhone 16. So I make very strong distinctions between them not being the same thing. So, and it's not like Google hasn't failed to deliver on other things before that have taken a long time to show up or not shown up or been taken away. But everybody knows that. That's Google. But I do like I don't know, moxie, I guess is what you would call it. I don't know what the best thing to use here is, but I just really enjoyed seeing that on the Twitter, like the app platform formerly known as Twitter. I hate calling it X. X is the stupidest thing ever. Next to Apple Intelligence and the iPhone 16. But yeah, on Twitter, what it used to be, I I thought it was funny. I thought it was cool. I got some laughs out of it. I was like, oh, touche, Google, touche. That was a good one, and I mean, rightfully so. And the whole thing about it's been coming for a full year, been waiting for a feature, all that stuff. Change your phone, ask more of your phone is what they're saying. Get a Google Pixel 10, which will be available on the 20th of August. Well, it's going to be announced and it will come out after that to when you can buy it. We'll find all that stuff out on August 20th. I'm excited about it. I think there's a lot of great, exciting things coming with the Pixel 10 series. I think it'll be the best Pixel phones ever and hopefully take some more leaps and steps. And here's the other great thing. As much as I think Google hated me for years, even though I'm probably one of their biggest advocates on this platform, it was funny to me for years. I'm like, they need to put their phones out before the iPhone. Like, it makes no sense. The Pixel is not a strong enough phone to make people second guess and buy one after the iPhone comes out. If you want people to buy your product, and the iPhone is the best selling product, you don't wait for everybody to see the best selling product and then go, I'm going to buy this one. So I was like, they need to put it out earlier. It needs to come out before the iPhone. And now finally, like last year and this year, yes, it is actually, last year, did it come out before it? I think so. But anyway, this year for sure. I can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday. I'm getting old, much less the timelines of last year. They're so convoluted. But yes, it is finally coming out before the iPhone. People can make a decision and go, hey, do we like the Pixel and should we buy one? If not, maybe we'll go ahead and get the iPhone. And I think this will sell more phones. And I think now, especially being able to capitalize, Android 16 is already here. They're going to talk about the Material 3 Expressive. They're going to show off all the cool new stuff. It's going to be fantastic. And then things will be great in the Google Pixel land. And maybe more people will move over. I don't know. But I think it does make the platform stronger. I think that they have more confidence now in the brand and they're able to project that more into the marketplace and be like, hey, we are a very viable alternative. We make good stuff. Check out our phones. So I thought it was funny. I wanted to share this with everybody because I thought the video was interesting. And, there was so much discussion yesterday. And people get way, way, way up in their feels over phones. I don't really understand it. And I mean, I'm apt to troll some people just because it's fun. But I try not to do too much of it. I don't want to make people too angry. But it's just one of those fun things. I love to see this stuff. I love to see the competition. Do you remember back in the day when whenever the iPhone with the notch came out with Face ID, and they had the family that went into the Apple store and they had like the big notch cut out in their hair? Or there's just over the years, there's been this stuff. Or back in the day, it was the Mac versus PC commercials, and those were funny. I love to see this stuff. I love the rivalry stuff. Maybe it's because I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, and I was just talking to my kids yesterday. 41 years old now. If you don't believe me, look at my hairline. That's the biggest indicator. But I was joking with my kids at the table because I had to like sign up for something to show your age because they do that in all these games now. I think we were talking about the new Grand Theft Auto because when it comes out, they're talking about doing age verification. And people were joking it's going to cut off half the audience because all the 12 and 10-year-olds can't go around, busting caps in people and committing crimes. They're going to get cut off because they're going to do an age verification somehow. So I was joking with my kids, telling me that scroll wheel's getting really far to go because you're 2025 now. I got to scroll pretty far to get back to 1984, and they got a good laugh out of that. But yeah, in the 90s was like apex competition whenever it came to the console stuff. The console wars were so huge back then. Sega versus Nintendo. I mean, it was massive, and it went on for a decade. And then, of course, we got PlayStation, we got Xbox, and then everything just kind of changed. The whole landscape shifted and changed. It wasn't just the big two. And for the longest time, it kind of was just the big two. It was Samsung and it was Apple. But now we have a viable third party. We have the Ross Perot of phone companies now. We have the Google Pixel. If any of you remember, was it the 1992 election with George Bush and Bill Clinton and Ross Perot? I think it was 92. I think Ross Perot came back in 96 as well. But anyway, I'm going to date myself here. I couldn't vote back then, but I remember people being pissed off about it. So, yeah, we do have, I think, a good, valuable third-party candidate in the Google Pixel. And I think they're doing some great things. And I love to see these jabs at Apple. I think Apple deserves all the jabs. This is one of those things where I do think that the iPhone 16, as it was, is an abject failure of a product. And I've talked about this, made jokes about the iPhone 17 upcoming, saying the first phone reinvented from the ground up for Apple Intelligence. And I think really we are going to see like 90% of the same phone and the DNA from the 16 to the 17. It's just going to work with Apple Intelligence. And I got to say, I don't have an iPhone to show up and hold you. With the last update for iOS 26, I actually kind of like it now. So on a positive note, I'm looking forward to see what we get with the full deployment of iOS 26. I'm looking to forward to see what we get with Apple Intelligence. I'm looking forward to see what we get with the iPhone 17 series phones. Probably more so than I have been in a while. So for people who are excited about the iPhone, I make jokes here, right? I make jokes. A lot of commentary, a lot of opinions. I hate Apple, but I generally respect their products, and I think they make some good stuff. I mean, they don't sell 80-something million phones in the U.S. a year without reason, right? People love them. But I want them to give a good product that works to the people who spend their money on these things. So I want to see what we get with the iPhone 17. It'll be exciting. We'll see what we get now with all this point and counterpoint stuff, especially with Google Pixel launching right before it. I think it's prime time for some good fun. So that's all I got. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, all those things, please, of course, go to the comments section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.